In this video, we're going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem has to do with right triangles. So a right triangle is simply a triangle that, let's ignore that spot right there, that has a right angle or a 90-degree angle. So these two angles could be anything as long as they add up to 90 degrees, but you have to have one angle that is 90 degrees. And typically with a right triangle, we call this side leg A, this side leg B, and you could have swapped these. This could have been B, this could have been A. That doesn't really matter. And you even could have used different letters. The important thing is sometimes these will be referred to as legs, so the sides that touch the right triangle. And then the side that is across from the right angle is called the hypotenuse. And sometimes we call that side C. And the Pythagorean theorem is really cool because it relates the lengths of all of the three sides to one another. And the formula is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Let's just take a look at this formula for a second, see what it really means visually. A squared, that is this length squared. And one way that you can think about it is if you have this length here, and then you take that same length, and we're going to extend it out this way, what we've drawn is a square. And a squared, that's like side squared, that's the area right here. B squared is like taking this length here and drawing it down to create a square. And b squared is the area here. C squared is taking the length of the hypotenuse and drawing it out like this. Oops. And getting this area here. So the Pythagorean theorem is helping you figure out the lengths of each side, but another way to think about it is it's the area of this square plus the area of this square is equal to the area of this square. Let's try some examples. Let's say we have a triangle and it has a leg of 3 and a leg of 4, and we're being asked to figure out the hypotenuse. So we're going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. These are the legs, this is the hypotenuse. A squared would be 4 squared, b squared would be 3 squared, and then c squared, we don't know, we're trying to solve that. 4 squared is 16, 3 squared is 9, c squared we can't simplify anymore. 16 plus 9 is 25 equals c squared. We want to get c by itself because that's the hypotenuse, that's what we're being asked to solve for. If we want to undo a square, the way we do that is take a square root. And if we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other. The square root of 25 is 5. So our unknown side, the hypotenuse, has a length of 5. Let's try another example. This time we're going to be told the hypotenuse is 13, and then one of the sides is 12, and we don't know the third side. So it's the same formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but now we don't know one of these two legs. Which one you decide to write as your unknown doesn't matter. $12 squared is 144. 13 squared is 169. We want to get a by itself, So the next thing I'm going to do is subtract 144 from both sides. And we get a squared is equal to 25. And we take the square root of both sides, and we find that side A is equal to 5. Now, both of these examples, I just happened to choose two where both of the answers are 5. Of course, the answer is not always going to be 5, but also the answer is not always going to be a nice integer number necessarily. There's a few examples like these two where all the sides are integers, but that's not always going to be the case. And in fact, most of the times, you're going to get sides that are decimal numbers. So just keep that in mind when you're doing problems.